because of Renee Francis in the ED, who had this brilliant idea to come together today, 6 feet apart, with masks on, to share in the singing of Amazing Grace. So we want to recognize all caregivers during this week for nurses and the Year of the Nurse, to know that it takes this entire team to do what we have done during the COVID pandemic. So without further ado, I want to welcome our Chief Executive and ICU Nurse Extraordinaire, Miss Mary Kingston, to welcome you to the ceremony.
Thank you to Heather, our Chief Nursing Officer. When I heard about this, I had to do a little background investigating on Amazing Grace, and so I want to share that with you. Amazing Grace actually was written about 250 years ago in 1772 by John Newton and William Cowper. They wrote the lyrics, and John Newton himself, he experienced very hard times, and it really changed him as a person. He was quite a angry person, quite a cruel person, and he paid that forward for many years until he himself had a conversion. And he changed. He saw himself as really undeserving of mercy and grace, even though he received it. These lyrics are his personal story of redemption, but they have resonated for 250 years with many, many people. Amazing Grace has been translated into Cherokee. It's been used in African American spirituals. It's been sung in Appalachia. It's become part of gospel music, the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War opposition. It's been woven into American churches regardless of faith or religious background. It crossed into jazz and blues. It was introduced into folk music by Judy Collins. Arlo Guthrie sang it at Woodstock. The Royal Scots Dragoon Guards recorded a bagpipe solo of Amazing Grace. Aretha Franklin and Rod Stewart recorded it. Barack Obama recited it and later sang the hymn at a memorial of the 9 victims at the Charleston church shooting. The U.S. Library of Congress has 3,000 versions of Amazing Grace. Why? For the same reason that we're gathered here today to sing this remarkable hymn. It inspires hope in times of tragedy and loss of life. It represents the ability of humanity to transform itself for the better. The lyrics have the power to change our sorrows into grace, our suffering into beauty, our isolation into empathy and connection, the unspeakable held in our hearts into poetic literature. It is our spiritual national anthem. We come together today, like many before us, and extol the virtue of Amazing Grace. As nurses during Nurses Week, we experience firsthand the struggles of neonates every breath in our NICU, the joy of childbirth, the intensity of a sudden trauma victim airlifted from miles away to our surgery suites, the calming rage of a mentally fragile adolescent, the slowing of a heartbeat as an elderly grandparent slips into the afterlife. As nurses, we witness humankind at its most vulnerable, meeting people wherever they're at along life's journey. If anything, this pandemic has reminded us of how fragile our relationship is with one another. It is amazing, our profession, one that we have chosen, or better yet, one that has chosen us. The spiritual definition of grace is a divine gift or divine assistance bestowed upon us without us ever asking for it or earning it. That is what grace means. In the past several weeks and throughout the world, nurses have been heralded as heroes, courageous and trusted advocates, brave and fearless. Those who know the essence of nursing know we come from a place of amazing grace. I'd like to introduce Mickey.
Thank you, Marian. Thank you, everyone. Look at all of your beautiful faces. Thank you so much for coming down. And I hope you brought your beautiful voices as well. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
So on behalf of our sisters, on behalf of our system board, our system leadership team, our entire executive team in the Oregon network, again, a huge thank you to Renee for a life-changing experience. Thank you for everything that you do and that you will do for all of our patients all the days to come. Let this change you. This year of the nurse was intended to be just that. Be well and take care of your loved ones and each other. Have a great day.